Hello dear students, welcome back to the session. In today's session, we will be discussing the first chapter, chapter number 1, that is typical configuration of a computer system. Before this, we have given the syllabus introduction and blueprint. How many marks will come from each and every chapter, the detailed things we have discussed in our previous session. So here today I'm going to give you just an introduction about the first chapter, typical configuration of a computer system. So have a look at here. The total marks allotted for this chapter is 4 marks. This 4 marks is divided into 2 parts. One question will be asked for 1 mark and one question will be asked for 3 marks. That is 1 plus 3 is equals to 4. That is what we have mentioned here. One question for 1 mark and one question for 3 marks. Total of how many marks? 4 marks. So here in this chapter, some terms are associated with this chapter, that is hardware, software, data, information, and user. We just recall those definitions which we have discussed in the last year also, in the first year beginning. So what do you mean by the term called as hardware? Hardware. If the physical component of a computer is called as a hardware. Once again, I'll tell you, the physical component of a computer is called as hardware, where you can feel, where you can see, where you can touch those devices. Say, for example, keyboard, mouse, monitor, computer's CPU, printer, scanner. These all things you can see, you can touch, you can feel. Those all comes under the hardware. The physical component of a computer is called as hardware. So on the other hand, we have another term, that is software. Software refers to set of instruction. Software refers to set of instructions to perform a specific task. Software refers to set of instructions to perform a specific task is called as software. Example for software is operating system, that is OS. Any operating system is an example for software. The third term, that is data. Data is a collection of facts and figures or statistic which does not have any specific meaning, is called as data. Once again, I'll repeat. Data is a collection of facts and figures or statistic which does not have any specific meaning. The fourth term, that is information. Information is a processed data which is having a specific meaning. Information is a processed data which is having a specific meaning. It's called as information. The last term, that is user. People who use the computer are called as user. These are the terms which are associated with the chapter called as typical configuration of a computer system. First one, hardware, software, data, information, and user. Okay. So moving to the next segment, that is a block diagram of computer, which we have already discussed in the last year in the beginning. Okay. So same thing is a block diagram: input unit, output unit, CPU consists of some 3 parts: ALU, control unit, memory unit. Okay. We'll discuss one by one. Okay. The first one, input unit. So as you all are familiar with what are the different types of input devices? Keyboard and mouse comes under the input device. What are the output device? Printer, monitor, and speakers comes under the output devices. So we'll go for the first one, that is input unit. Have a look at here. Input unit. Computers need to receive data and instructions. See, try to understand this sentence. Computers need to receive data and instructions in order to solve a given problem. In order to solve a given problem, computer require an input. Computer need to receive data and instructions in order to solve a given problem. The input unit performs this operation. The input unit basically links the external world or environment to the computer system. The input unit may consist of one or more input devices. Okay. The most important thing is computer need to receive data and instructions in order to solve a given problem. Fine. So the commonly used input devices are keyboard, mouse, OMR, OCR, MICR, barcode reader, light pen, joystick, many more things. CPU stands for what? Central Processing Unit. Central Processing Unit. The function of CPU is to interpret. Interpret means it is going to translate orally. The function of CPU is to interpret the instructions in the program and execute them one by one. It consists of two major units as they are. The first one is control unit. First one is control unit. Second one is arithmetic and a logic unit. Okay. The first one, control unit. It controls and directs the transfer of program instructions and data between various units. As the name itself indicates, it controls and coordinates all the functions inside the CPU. Second one is ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. It performs all arithmetic and logical operations and controls the speed of these operations. As you all are familiar with, the arithmetic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. Logical operations, logical AND, logical OR, and logical NOT. So all operations are going to perform in this unit. So these two unit comes under the CPU. Then comes the next one is memory unit. The results generated from processing have to be preserved. The results generated from processing have to be preserved before it is displayed. The memory unit thus provides a space. The memory unit thus provides a space to store input data and intermediate results and the final output generated. So whatever the calculations which has been done in the AL unit, that answer has to be stored in some part of the computer memory. So the results are generated from processing have to be preserved. That means saved before it is going to displayed on the output device. The memory unit thus provides a space to store the input data, intermediate results, and the final output generated. And the last unit comes is output unit. So it is used to print or display the result. Why output units are used? So whatever the answer we are going to get during processing, that answer has to be displayed. So we require an output device. I may use monitor, okay? So it is used to print or display the results which are stored in the memory unit. The actual function of the output unit is to just the reverse of the input unit. Thus the output unit links the computers to the outside world. So input unit, CPU consists of two parts, CU and ALU, memory unit and output unit. Commonly used output devices are printer, monitor and speakers. Okay, this is about a block diagram. You need to draw the diagram, should explain each unit, input unit, what exactly input unit performs, and CPU consists of how many parts, what exactly control unit will do, ALU unit will do. Then comes memory unit and output unit. Then comes the next segment, that is motherboard. Okay, motherboard is also called as a main board. Motherboard is also called as a main board or system board. Okay, have a look at the definition. Motherboard is the large printed circuit board. Motherboard is a large printed circuit board having many chips, ports, and other electronic components mounted on it. Once again, I'll repeat. Motherboard is the large printed circuit board having many chips. Chips means ICs, having many chips, ports, and other electronic components mounted on it. Is called as motherboard. This is what the definition as expected for 1 mark. Define motherboard, or what is motherboard? Motherboard is a large printed circuit board having many chips, ports, and other electronic components mounted on it. It's called as motherboard. So some of the characteristics of motherboard. The motherboard may be characterized by the form factor, chipset, and type of processor socket used. There are 3 characteristics of motherboard. These are the 3 important characteristics as expected for 3 marks. As I said in the beginning, from this chapter, you will be having 1 question for 1 mark, 1 question for 3 marks, as it is expected for 3 marks. Explain the characteristics of a motherboard. Okay, so have a look at here. The first one is form factor. Form factor means the physical size and shape of a piece of computer hardware. The physical size and shape. It refers to the motherboard's geometry, dimensions, arrangement, and electrical requirements. I'll repeat once again. It refers to motherboard's geometry. That is what I said, physical size and shape. It refers to the motherboard's geometry, dimensions, arrangement, and electrical requirements. This is what the first characteristics of motherboard, that is form factor. Second one, chipset, which controls the majority of resources of the computer, which controls the majority of the computer resources. The function of chipset is to coordinate data transfer between various components of the computer. The main function of chipset is to coordinate data transfer between various components of the computer. First one, form factor. Second one, chipset. Third one is processor socket. The processor socket. It is processor socket may be a rectangular connector. There you can see in the picture, it's a square shape. It is a rectangular connector into which the processor is mounted vertically, or a square shaped connector with many small connectors into which the processor is directly inserted. There you are going to insert the processor. You need to open this one and you should insert the processor here in this area. So these are the three characteristics of a motherboard. The first one, form factor. Second one, chipset. Third one, processor socket. Once again, the first one, form factor refers to the motherboard's geometry, dimensions, arrangement, and electrical requirement. Second one, chipset, which controls the majority of resources of the computer. The main function of chipset is to coordinate data transfer between various components of the computer. And the third one is processor socket. It is a square-shaped connector into which the many small connectors into which the proper processor is directly inserted onto the motherboard. These are the three characteristics of a motherboard. Okay, thank you for watching this video.